Episode 9 is set to end the Skywalker saga and the sequel trilogy itself by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing that a lot of people, including myself, I'm really looking forward to seeing in this movie is exactly how J.J. Abrams will utilize some of the cameos in this film that are meant to move some of the characters like Kylo Ren and Rey forward in this story from start to finish of the plot of this film. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this movie when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with Kylo Ren and Anakin Skywalker. Specifically, a description of what is described as a sequence considered to be a parallel to Anakin's nightmares in the prequels. It's described that Kylo is in his chambers next to the Vader helmet on a podium. It's said that Kylo begins to hear voices of distant screams and faint screams in the background. It's described to be similar to Rey's Force vision, however in the form of a nightmare, one of which includes a black hooded figure with a red ignited blade running toward Kylo that is said to be an alternate figure of Anakin Skywalker, taking a swing at Kylo before vanishing. The next goes over Kylo hearing the screams of Anakin on Mustafar. Lastly, Kylo sees the Anakin hybrid Force Ghost figure, with the Vader helmet eventually shape-shifting into Anakin's face. It's described that these are all glimpses and very brief before Kylo wakes up suddenly and stares at the melted Vader helmet on his podium. It's implied that the Vader helmet holds dark side energy that causes Kylo to have terrible dreams that may benefit him, since fear is the foundation of the dark side of the Force. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this. Now, first things first, we do know that the Darth Vader melted helmet is going to be yet another thing, another aspect in Episode 9's plot. And to me, that's a great thing because we do know that that was something that was created by J.J. Abrams himself. He came up with the idea of Darth Vader's melted helmet in Episode 7, The Force Awakens, in order to do something very unique that can really show us a different side to the character of Kylo Ren. So in this scenario, it's obviously a parallel to that sequence in Revenge of the Sith, in which Anakin Skywalker is of course having nightmares of Padme Amidala, where in this scenario, Kylo Ren is having nightmares of Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader, and that the Vader helmet is implied to have dark side energies that puts Kylo Ren through this terrible nightmare and seeing alternate visions and views of Anakin Skywalker. Now, the one that really seems very scary to me is how he sees an alternate version of Anakin with a hood over his head that is, of course, the hybrid Force Ghost version of Anakin with the red ignited lightsaber and the metallic-looking face going toward him. The other one of which is, of course, hearing voices of Anakin's screams on Mustafar while burning, where the other one is the full version of the hybrid Force Ghost with the Vader helmet eventually shape-shifting into Anakin's face. So you can really see what they're trying to do in this film. Now, we do know that J.J. Abrams is trying to make Episode 9 a very dark movie in comparison to both The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens. Now, that to me speaks volumes. When I look at Episode 9, the fact that J.J. wants to make this film a whole lot more darker than The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi combined, it really makes you wonder exactly what the title of this movie really is going to be. Is it going to have more of a dark title or a lighthearted title that may include Galaxy or something around those lines? But anyways, I want to go more into this nightmare sequence. Now, this lines directly up with what we heard a couple of weeks ago about one of the costume designs of Anakin Skywalker consisting of an actual unnamed actor wearing a lot of makeup over his face with a lot of metallic, elements going through his face with the hood over his head. Now, one of which is actually the alternate version of Anakin Skywalker wielding a red lightsaber blade charging toward Kylo before he vanishes into thin air. And the other one of which is Kylo hearing distant screams of Anakin on Mustafar while burning. So you can really see all the little nods to Revenge of the Sith, as well as alternate versions of Anakin Skywalker being embedded into the mix. Now, the one great alternate version of Anakin, in my opinion, is the hybrid Force Ghost. I know a lot of people are really not all on board for that idea. It was an original idea for The Force Awakens that never made it to the final cut of the movie. And now that we are going into Episode 9 and that J.J. Abrams wants to do something very unique and something very horrific for the character of Kylo Ren by use of Anakin Skywalker, you can really only imagine exactly where J.J. Abrams is going to take all the different characters in this movie, making himself believe that he was talking to some kind of dark side entity. Now, in this scenario, the Darth Vader melted helmet, it's stored on a podium next to Kylo Ren's chambers. In case you guys don't know what the chambers are, Kylo Ren's chambers, he holds a lot of the artifacts and a lot of the relics that once belonged to Vader in there, and it's also the location in which he sleeps and he recovers and whatnot. You got a glimpse of this, by the way, in The Last Jedi when he had no shirt on in front of Rey. Those were indeed Kylo Ren's chambers. So you can see where they're trying to go in this movie, and that Episode 9, it really is going to embrace a lot of dark side elements in this film by JJ. And you can only see, what JJ is trying to do. He's trying to really match this movie with Revenge of the Sith, it seems. The only problem I have with this is that, are we actually going to end on an open-ended note, or are we going to have a lot of closure in this movie? That's a big question for sure. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.